looking on Bamboo, I just noticed that for my
Okay, I want to say good evening to everyone that is here today for another session of the Mind Renewal Series, Transformed Minds. Thank you for making our time to join today. We're going to start with an opening prayer, and I'm going to ask Pastor Barido, Pastor Kochi, are you there? Are you in a place where you can pray, please?
Yes, I can. Let me be sure that you are hearing me, sir.
Yes, I can hear you. I believe we can all
Okay.
hear you. Please go ahead.
All right, let's pray. Oh Lord in heaven, we are so happy that you have sustained this series from week to week, from month to month. And we'll be counting several anniversaries to the glory of your name. Father, thank you so very much. This evening, we have the grace to host your son, Omotola Williams. He has spent many years gaining expertise, and now he will deliver your word, and he will encourage and empower us so that we can be more enlightened. Great God in heaven, I ask that you will minister through him. You will inspire his thoughts, that he will hit at the nail, straight at the head, so that by the end of this session, we can raise holy hands and say, blessed be the name of the Lord. For you are worthy to be praised and adored. We ask in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you so much, Pastor, for that. Tosin, please go ahead with the profile.
Okay, good evening, Transforminders. Today we are having our speaker, Tola Williams, and she's a financial coach dedicated to helping individuals achieve their goals, financial goals. With a background in accounting from the University of Lagos and social work from the University of Denver, and organizational leadership and policy practice, Tola brings a unique perspective to financial wellness, addressing both practical skills and potential trauma or habits hindering financial freedom. A chartered accountant with nearly 2 decades of experience, Tola also holds a leading with finance certification from Harvard Business School. She currently works as a budget officer at a university in Colorado and founded Talents and Treasures, a financial coaching program designed to empower individuals and families to understand and manage their finances. She's happily married to Jide Williams and blessed with 2 wonderful children. Her life's purpose is to please God in all she does. We're glad to have you, ma'am.
Thank you so much. Okay, can I go ahead? Can we get started?
Yes, please.
All right. Thank you so much for having me. Thank you, Brother Okeze, for the invite, and thank you all for being here to spend some time with me this evening. I'm so glad that I'm able to share a bit of my knowledge with you all. I see my husband on the call. Thank you for your constant support. I see my cousin, Shell. Thank you for joining in. And I know some other people will be joining in as well. So yes, let's just get into it so that we can make the best use of our time together. Today, we're going to be talking about winning with budgeting. Winning with budgeting. And while Tosin has read my bio and it all sounded pretty, I want to give you a little insight into my story and what led me to this work using some pictures that I will show now. All right. So in 2007, I got my first job. I got a job with a bank, Equatorial Trust Bank, ETB. It was a good job as the bank was either the highest paying bank at the time or the second, something like that. I was a young lady. I wasn't married. I was living with my parents and I was earning a good amount of money. At the end of 2008, I got a bit curious and I decided to do a quick audit of my bank account. So I checked my bank statement and I saw the total amount of money that I had received that year. And I was shocked. I was very shocked. I couldn't believe my eyes. You mean I earned this much money? What in the world did I do with all this money? I didn't know. I didn't know where my money had gone to. In 2009, I got married. I continued working and even got a better job with an oil and gas company that doubled my previous salary. The picture here is me and a colleague of mine when I was working at Sterling. So Sterling bought over ETB. And then this is me when I was working at the oil and gas company. With two decent incomes and an accounting degree, you would think that things would be better. But no, I still did not understand where our money went to. Fast forward to 2017, we relocated from Lagos, Nigeria to the US. I always knew that I wanted to help people, but I wasn't quite sure how I wanted to do that. So I decided to enroll in a Master's of Social Work. And this is me here on my graduation day. So while I was in school, my husband was also doing his PhD. And when I graduated, after looking for a job for like a year, God eventually had mercy on me and I got a job with a university as a budget officer. And this picture is, I think I took this picture on the very first week when I started my job with the university. Again, we started earning two decent salaries that allowed us to meet our obligations, but unfortunately left no extras for us. I was frustrated month after month with constant bickering between me and my husband over him spending even a few dollars to buy a hair product. I remember one of those days I told him, we just can't afford luxuries like that. Hair products then became a luxury. My husband and I were clearly on different pages as somehow he thought we had money. He did not understand that after taking out all of our expenses, we were left with nothing. I was filled with shame about how I could analyze the various sizes of budget of a university and nonprofits and do all of this work. I could help the university remain fiscally sustainable, but I could not apply that knowledge to my own personal life and my family. So one day, I was scrolling on the streets of Instagram and I saw someone talking about personal finance and how to get out of debt. I realized that I knew everything that he was talking about. Then it hit me. Financial wellness is not just about financial education. It's about applying the knowledge that you know. That was an aha moment for me. So I decided I was going to apply the knowledge to my life and also got my husband and my children on board. And I said to myself that while I'm at it, I am going to help others as well. And that's why I'm here today. I'm here not just to educate you, but I'm here to show you how you can apply the education that you already know, or something new that you will learn from this program today, how you can apply that to your life. And also, I'm here to inspire you to commit to taking action. Action is the word here, action. So, in line with taking action, I started using a monthly budget. And that is what we're going to discuss in the next few minutes. How to win using a budget. And I know that we're all professionals on this call, and some of you might be saying, what's the big deal in a budget? I know how to do that. I do that every time. Please, please, please just give me a few minutes of your time, and trust me, you will learn something new if you apply it to your life. It will cause a transformation in your life. So, what is budgeting? Budgeting is simply the process of planning, tracking, and managing income and expenses to ensure financial stability and achieve financial goals. Before I continue, I want to quickly take a pulse of the room. Tosin, are you able to please help me now to administer the poll? I just want to know what the thoughts are around budgeting. Okay, so the first question, if you can help me do that. Okay, please let's all try to participate so that I can know where we're at. How often do you track your spending? Are you the type that budgets every month and track most of your expenses? Or do you budget every month, but you think it's too hard? You know, sometimes you just lose track of the expenses. Or you're the type that, you know, life is simple, we just wing it. I take a day as it comes. Let's see what our result is saying. Okay. I think we're about 18 on this call. So if you can please participate in the poll, let's see where we're at. Okay, good. A few more minutes. All right, let's do 30 more seconds and then we can end the poll so that we can continue. If you haven't answered the questions, please try to answer. Let's be engaged. I know it's different time zones in different places, but okay, Tosin, I guess we can end the poll now so that we can continue. And if you can share the result for me. All right, thank you. Thank you all for participating in the poll. Interesting. I can see that 31% of people say, yes, I track every month and good. 15% are like, I'm neither here nor there, but the majority of us, we just wing it. We just take a day as it comes. Okay. And then the second question, do you feel in control of your financial situation? 38% say, yes, I'm good. But the majority of us are saying no, and some people are saying, well, I'm neither here nor there. Okay, thank you for that. To win a battle, you must have a strategy. To be in control of your finances, you must have a strategy to win your financial battles. You must have a plan in place. A budget is your strategy written in numbers. A budget is your strategy written in numbers. Budgeting is planning. It's simply planning. It's estimating. One of the Bible verses that I like is in Luke chapter 14, verses 28 to 29, that says, suppose one of you wants to build a tower. Won't you first sit down and estimate the costs to see if you have enough money to complete it? For if you lay the foundation and you're not able to finish it, everyone who sees it will ridicule you. Well, this Bible verse, talks directly about the cost of following Jesus, but literally it means you need to plan. If you have a project, you need to plan for it. So when next you receive that income, don't just spend your money. Plan for it. Tell it what to do. Francis Bacon says, money is such an excellent servant, but a bad leader. Tell your money where to go so you won't start wondering where it went. Have you ever received money and in like 3 days, you're wondering where the money went? That's because you probably didn't tell the money what to do. A budget simply instructs your money. It tells it what to do. So for my wingers, please don't just wing it. Plan it. Don't just wing it. Plan for it. I'm going to share a few excuses why people just decide to wing it, why people don't use a budget. And I'll try to give some solutions as we go through this. Many people say actually that I don't make enough money. I barely have enough money to cover my own expenses. So what's the point of budgeting, right? Well, budgeting helps you stretch your income and identify unnecessary expenses. And I'll show you how this works when we walk through a budget. Some other people say, I don't have time. Budgeting takes too long and it's too complicated. You only need 10 minutes, maximum 15 minutes a week to track your spending. Trust me, you don't need all the time in the world. Other people say it's too restrictive. A budget will stop me from enjoying life. Maybe not. Budgets actually give you financial freedom, not restriction. It ensures you spend on things that you truly value. I find it interesting that governments, organizations, businesses, even churches, they prioritize budgeting. They take their time and put things in place, the budget. But, sometimes as small business people, we find it difficult as individuals, we find it difficult to budget. Okay, let's keep going. Some people say, I'm afraid to face my finances. And I think that this is where so many people are, honestly. Some people say, I don't want to say how bad my financial situation is. And I get that, because sometimes when you say these things in numbers, it just tells you a story that you're trying so hard not to believe. But ignoring your finances just makes it worse. Awareness helps create a plan for improvement. Others say, I've tried this before and it did not work. I made a budget once, but I couldn't stick to it. So what you want to do is that you want to adjust your budget and make sure that it's realistic and it's flexible. Some other people say, I don't know how to budget. I was never taught how to budget. Yes, and that's why I'm here today. That's why I was invited here, so that I can teach you how to budget if that's your excuse. So no more excuses, okay? Another excuse is that I don't have consistent income. And this is a very valid excuse for small business owners, entrepreneurs that don't have like a set salary every month. So I understand that some people, their income actually varies. So it's a bit difficult for them to budget. But what you can do is that you can base your budget on your lowest expected income so that you can stay safe. And then you can prioritize your essentials first and then adjust in good months. And the last one is that I'm not broke. Budgeting is for broke people. I have everything that I need to meet my needs and my wants. Well, we know that you're not broke, but a budget can help you allocate money even more efficiently. So budgeting is about efficiency. It's about effectiveness. You want to be efficient and effective, even in your personal life, as you're effective on your job and in your businesses and all that. Because what you do in your personal life truly translates into your job. The way you treat your personal life, if you treat your personal life as a business and you're deliberate, you just find that you're able to take that character and then be efficient even at your job as well. Okay, we've spoken about excuses that people give. So why should you budget? Why should you budget? Like I said, government's budget, churches budget, organizations budget, you should budget as well. Why should you budget? A budget gives you financial control. It does give you financial control. You are in control, so no more guesswork. You get to decide how to spend your own money. Budgeting helps prepare for emergencies, and I'll show you how this works when I walk you through a budget. Budgeting helps reduce financial stress and improves your peace of mind. It also helps reduce debt. I'll show you how this works as well when I walk you through a proper budget. Number 5, and I really like this one, budgeting helps improve relationships and family finances. Those quarrels will stop, trust me. Those quarrels will stop. Because when a wife thinks that her husband makes a lot of money, she might start to make unreasonable demands. But when you budget as a couple, everybody knows what's coming in and now the funds will be allocated. So those money quarrels would stop, or at the best, or at least they will reduce to a bare minimum. And the last reason why I really think you should budget is that a budget helps you achieve your financial goals. Talking about financial goal, what is a financial goal? A financial goal is a specific monetary target that an individual, a business, or an organization aims to achieve within a set time frame. So we all know the characteristics of a goal, right? We talk about SMART goals. S as in specific, M as in measurable, A achievable, R relevant, and T time bound. We talk about that a lot. And like I always say jokingly, I want to be rich is not a financial goal. It is only a wish or a dream at best because it is not smart. You can't just say, I want to be rich. How? Okay. An example of a financial goal is I want to build an emergency fund of 1 million naira in 6 months. That is a financial goal because it is a smart goal. It's also advisable that you have only one goal per time so that you can focus. So that you can focus on just one thing per time. And once you're done with that one, you can move to the other one. You can have 2 or 3, but it's advisable to have one per time. Okay. So I started budgeting actively a few years ago. And what I did was that I would simply list out my income and my expenses. But then I realized that I needed my budget to do much more for me. I wanted it to show me at a glance how I was allocating my money. And I also needed to get my husband on board. I needed him to be able to make sense of what I was saying. So I decided to create a simple and effective way to budget, which I call the planned buckets method. The planned buckets method. The planned bucket method is just a method of allocating your money into expense categories. Buckets, I call them, so that it's clear where every naira is going into. You're allocating all your income, so it's a balanced budget. So all your income will be divided into those 5 buckets. And when I say it's balanced, it means your income is the same, it totals your expenses. Guess what? Because you cannot spend what you do not have, your expenses cannot be more than your income. Let me say that again. You cannot spend what you don't have. You cannot plan for what you don't have. So your expenses must be equal to your income. I'll show you how that works. The planned budget method, like I said, is just putting your money in these 5 buckets. So let me quickly walk you through these 5 buckets. Bucket 1 is the fixed expenses. Fixed expenses are essential expenses that you pay for that do not change from month to month. So things like rent, mortgages, insurance, your tithe, minimum debt payments, those things typically don't change every month. So they're kind of fixed. Bucket 2 is your variable expenses. These are regular expenses that change from month to month based on consumption, things like groceries, utilities, transportation, things like that. Bucket 3, this is the one that we love, discretionary expenses. This is for non-essential stuff that brings you joy. things like dining out, buying a shrebi, entertainment, your hobbies, things like that, things that are wants and not needs. You don't necessarily need them, but you want them. Okay, they bring you joy. Bucket number 4, savings and investments. This bucket is all about the future. So we're talking about your savings, retirement, or any big expenses that you have coming down the line. And then the last one is unplanned expenses. This is where I put emergency funds and those unexpected small purchases that are not captured in the first 4 buckets. So now I'm going to share a budget template, and I'm just going to walk you through this budget template. Okay, I hope you're able to see my budget template. If you can see, just put in the chat, say, yes, I can see, just so that I know that you all are still engaged and I'm not talking to myself. Okay. All right, thank you. Okay, so this is a budget that I created for a family of 4 living in Lagos, Nigeria. So this is a young couple and they have 2 little children, and they're kind of like starters in their career. So I just want to use this as an example, and then you can, make this work to your own particular situation. Okay, so this is the planned bucket method. Of course, we want to now budget for the month of March 2025. We know that March starts in a few days, so we need to plan for our income. Like I said, I'm going to say it again, your total planned income must equal your total planned expenses, because you cannot spend more than you have. So in a typical budget, you have 2 sides. You have the income side and then you have the expenses. The income, of course, is everything that comes to you. And income can mean like different things for different people. But for this family, they're both salary earners, the man and his wife. So we're going to start with the balance brought forward. That's the money that they think they would have left in their checking account by February 28th. So they're anticipating that they'll probably have like 25,000 remaining in their checking account. Salary 1, whether it's the man or the woman, one person is earning 750K and the other person is earning 500,000. Side also, well, they decided not to put anything in their side also because the side hustle has not really been great, so they're not going to plan on that. But then they noticed that averagely, like every month, they kind of get like gifts, like people will just give them money or something, somebody is blessing them or something. And so we're going to put that on our income, because I understand and I'm a recipient of blessings as well. So gifts do come. Okay, so this family, they're planning that at the minimum, they will receive a 50,000 Naira in gifts. So the total income now is 1.3 and a little, okay? Now let's move to the expense side of the house. And we're gonna start with the first bucket. Like I said, the fixed expenses. These ones, they don't change. We're gonna start with housing. These guys, they have a house or a flat that they've rented, and it cost them 1.5 million. While I understand that rent typically is paid 1 year in advance in Nigeria, these people are very proactive. So they are planning for their house rent. House rent is not an emergency. You have 1 year notice. You already know that you will pay your rent. So these people are proactive, they are planning for their rent. So what they're doing is that they're dividing a 1.5 by 12 months so that every month they can put some money aside towards their house rent. So 125K there. They don't have any car repayment, but they did borrow 500,000 from a microfinance, and they're going to pay it over 6 months. So we're dividing that over 6 months with some interest. So that comes to 85,000 every month. School fees for their children. They have 2 children. They've paid the school fees for this term. And so I put in nothing there. And I'll show you how we're planning to pay the rest of the school fees, because these people are proactive. They are planning. Okay. They live in an estate. They pay estate dues. They pay the gate man. It costs them about 20K to do that. And they're Christians. They believe in tithing. So they're paying their tithe, which is 10%. And they're also putting in 100,000 that they give to their parents monthly to support their parents. So they have that as charity, tithe, family giving, and things like that. Let me see if I can make this a bit bigger. Okay. So we've dealt with the fixed expenses. Now we're moving to the variable expenses. Food and groceries for the month. So you're talking about toiletries, groceries, lunch money for the man when he's at work, lunch money for the woman, and all of the food that they're going to eat in their household for that month. They're planning on 250,000 naira. 50,000 for electricity bill, they're on band C, so it's a bit low, but 50,000 for that. Some 5,000 to buy petrol into their generator. They would also use 18,000 to buy a bottle of gas to cook. They drink about 8 bottles of water in a month, so that's 11,200. And they're estimating that they would spend, both the man and his wife would spend about 50,000 on data, on credit, things like that. Their car is not due for servicing this month, so it's zero there. And then they have 135,000 for transportation. So whether it's public transportation or they will probably buy gas over the weekend to drive their car, so they're just trying to be as conservative as they can. 135,000. That brings the total of the variable expenses to a little bit shy of 590,000 naira. And the third bucket is the discretionary spending. The wants and not the needs. Here, they're paying for subscription. They have Netflix and they have DSTV. They'll pay about 20,000 for that. And personal care, they're planning that 100,000 for the kids. They want to cut their hair. They want to make their hair. They want to change their socks. They want to change their backpack. And all of those things, 100,000 for them. The mom is going to spend about 50,000 for herself. She's not making her hair this month. She's just going to wear a wig, but she's going to, just try to be conservative. She'll spend 50,000 for herself, for personal, just those personal things that she needs to buy. The man as well is doing that. And they plan that as a family, they will just eat out once a month. So they're planning to spend 50,000 naira just one time, just to take the kids out. Donation and free will, gifts and charity. All those, uncle, how are you? Then you give your cousin 5,000. You give the cleaner at your office 2,000. Those little monies, just those free will and some offering in church here and there. They have a plan to spend just 50,000 on that. They are not planning to go on vacation this year, so it's going to be zero. They're just going to stay at home and just enjoy each other's company this summer. And one of them uses the estate gym and so pays 20,000 for that. So we have a total of 340,000 for the discretionary spending. The next bucket is the savings and investment. Unfortunately, they have nothing planned for savings and they also have nothing planned for investments. However, they do have a budget of 100,000 for upcoming expenses. So this couple, they do contribution Ajo. While I'm not a supporter of Ajo because there's no interest, I understand that is how some people are able to save, and it's been working for them, so they do this. So they have 100,000 that they pay each month. 12 of them come together. So when it's time for them to pick, they're going to pick 1.2 million, and that 1.2 million already has a plan. They're not just going to wing it. They already have a plan for the 1.2, and this is what they're going to do with the 1.2. They're going to pay their children's school fees. So they have 2 kids. Each one pays 200K, and they have 2 more terms before the end of the year. So it's 400,000 times 2. That's 800,000 will be used for their children's school fees. Their mom's 60th birthday is coming up 2 months down the lane. And they will be supporting their mom with 200,000. So that's 1 million gone. Their car will be due for servicing in about 2 months. They need to renew their driver's license, their car license, insurance, and all of that. So they have all of those upcoming expenses covered. Okay. And then the last bucket, this is unexpected. Those things that often catch us off guard. Emergency funds. You're just driving on your own. One downfall just comes and just bumps into you from behind. Emergency fund. Or a child just becomes suddenly ill and you need to pay the hospital bill, or the transformer just blows, or the pumping machine just stops working. All of those things that cause us a lot of stress. when you have some money in emergency fund, you would either not be stressed or the stress will be reduced because you can just pick some money from what you already have saved to cater for things like that. So this family, they're very proactive. They put in 50,000 every month towards emergency fund. And they also have, there's always a need to have some money in miscellaneous. Because at the end of the day, no matter how much you plan, some things will still sneak in on you. Those small monies, you're paying 1,000 for something you didn't anticipate, 2,000 here, 5,000 here and there. So you do have, they have 50,000 here for miscellaneous expenses. At the end of the day, for bucket 5, they have 100,000. Did you notice though that the total of the expense is almost 1.6, but they earn just 1.3? That's a big problem because remember, like I said, you cannot spend what you don't have. So what is this family going to do? I'm going to attempt to force this budget to balance because we have to stay within our means. So there are two ways to avoid financial stress. I say this a lot. It's either you're increasing your income or you're reducing your expenses or you're doing both. So this family, they're thinking, what can we do? We're short of 667K. That's the deficit. And we need to just come up with a plan. So can we do something? Can the wife say, okay, can I bake? Can I sell something? Or the husband say, can I do something? Well, perhaps we can. Okay, how much can we bring in from side also? Because our salary is kind of set in stone and all of that. So they say, okay, at the minimum, I'm going to put in effort and I'm going to bring in an extra 100,000. So I'm going to increase the income by 100,000 here. So that takes them to 1.4, but they're still going to be in a deficit. How can we reduce this? Because this must balance. So we begin to look at these different buckets. We already know that the fixed expenses is kind of fixed. There's really nothing you can do about it. You obviously want to keep saving for your rent because you don't want to be scrambling when it's time to pay rent. So you have that there. Of course, you have to pay microfinance. You have to be, you have to show integrity here. So you have to pay your bills. And all of that. So we can't really touch this bucket 1. So let's move to bucket 2. What can we do? Well, perhaps we can reduce this food a little bit and ensure that there's no wastage. Ensure that we're cooking and we're eating it up. And if we're not eating it up, we're keeping. So we're going to reduce this one a little bit, say 200,000 instead of 250,000. The wife will try so hard and ensure that they stay within. Electricity bill we have to pay. There's probably nothing much we can do about that. But perhaps we can reduce the money allocated for generators. So instead of putting on the generator for 3 hours, we probably can do 2 hours a day, something like that. Let's reduce this a little bit to maybe 50,000. And then we'll see where we're at. We still have a deficit of over 100,000. We still need to cut some things. Here we come to a discretionary spending. This is usually the places that most people cut, discretionary spending and variable expenses. We've done variable expenses, so let's come and let's see. Subscription, well, the guy likes to watch his football, so we're not going to touch that. But perhaps instead of spending 100,000 on the children this month, maybe we can reduce it a little bit and spend maybe some 5,000 for them instead of 100,000. The wife says, you know what, I'm just going to keep it very simple this month. You can take some money out of mine. So, okay, let's reduce ours again to maybe 40,000 there. And the dad also says, yeah, you can take my own down as well. 40,000, we have that. We still have about 56,000. We need to keep going. Dining out. It looks like we probably will not be able to eat out this month because we just our income is not sufficient to do that. So what can we do? We're just going to eat at home and scrap this. Okay, we'll scrap that. And okay, we still have a little bit of deficit. What can we do? You know what? We're just going to reduce how much we're going to give out. So once we eat 40,000, that is it. If my niece is celebrating her birthday or my nephew is celebrating his birthday, they probably will have to wait for next month or when I get more money. So we'll stay and then just do 40,000 here. Oh, voila, we do have a little bit of surplus here. And I'm going to just take this 3,000 and go and add it to the food money because that's always a good place to add money to. So we'll do this And then we have a balanced budget. Your budget has to be balanced. What you want to do is that once your budget is balanced, you then begin to put in your actual. Once you get your income, if your income comes in slightly higher than you anticipate, then great. Then you can spend more than you have budgeted, or you can take the extra and just plug it into your savings account. You want to ensure that you're tracking your expenses. And I know the majority of us said we just wing it. We just wing it. Let me give you some tips for ensuring that you stay consistent in budgeting so that you're not just winging it, you are planning it. The first thing you want to do is you want to download my planned budget template, and I would share the link once I'm done speaking now, so that you can download it. Let the person that enjoys numbers, if it's a family budget, the person that enjoys numbers the more, maybe the wife or the husband, can prepare the budget and then show it to the spouse, or both of you can really just sit down and craft your budget. If one person is the one doing the budget, ensure that you get your spouse's buy-in. If your spouse does not agree to your budget, it will not work. Trust me, it will not work. Your spouse has to agree to that budget, okay? You want to choose a money date, and that's a specific day and time each week to track your spending. Remember, you don't need more than 10 minutes a week or 15 at the most to track your spending. And you want to review your monthly progress. Something that I didn't mention here is that at the end here, you will see that I have percentages for your expense. So this shows at a glance how you're spending your money. You can see that these people are not spending so much on savings. They're not doing badly, but they're not spending so much. It can be better. So if your financial goal is that you want to save, you want to invest, every month you want to ensure that this line is growing. So from 7% this month, maybe next month is at 9%, next 2 months is at 12%, something like that. So you want to track your monthly progress, and you want to celebrate your wins. It's okay to celebrate. If you're able to stay within your budget this month and you have some extra, please take a little of that extra, buy suya, buy a bottle of wine, celebrate. It's okay to celebrate, and you don't always have to celebrate with money. You can create something fun and just celebrate, but you always want to celebrate your wins. A quick recap as we begin to think about our questions and we move into the question side of this course. So number one thing that I said when I started is that financial education is not enough. Application is key. Please don't just listen to me and say, oh, well, nice presentation, and then just go your way. Please try to make, even if it's just one change, please try to take action. A budget is your strategy written in numbers. Don't just wing it, plan for it. Commit to using a budget, set a money date when you track all your expenses, and please stay flexible. Life happens, goals change. You want to stay flexible. Review and amend your budget appropriately. Thank you and God bless you. Do we have any questions? Any questions, any comments for me? Or do we have questions in the chat?
Okay, let's check. But before question, I think we should just all go into the chat room and appreciate our dear sister for bringing this subject that we all avoid. We try very much to avoid it as much as possible. Even as you were describing it, I was like, okay, so finally, so where do we start? So please, let's go into the chat room and really just celebrate our dear sister for sharing from our wealth of experience. And I love the fact that she didn't come by just giving us the theory. She was able to tell us her story, which makes the whole story believable, and also able to let us know our own ingenious and unique solution. All right. I love that bucket approach. All right. And, thank you so much, dear sis. Thank you. Thank you so much. And I think there's a lot of comments in the chat room already. People that doesn't really like to do this. I was one of the people that said that I just swing it. And that's the truth. My wife is more on the, very particular about planning. but I don't know what it does for me. But I'm going to allow people to ask questions and comment. If I'm going to make my own personal comment, I will leave it for the end. So let's indicate by raising up our hands, virtual hand, and we will call upon you to unmute your mic and ask your question. I have one or two questions, but let's allow other members to say something. Thank you so much. Fantastic presentation. Thank you. This speaks to me directly. That is it. All right. This is a case where you turn to your neighbor and say that she's talking about you. That's fantastic. I love that. All right. Great job, my sweet sister. Okay. So we're all still, we are still celebrating the fact that you brought this again to us. But I want people to ask questions, make comments, and let's bring this home as much as possible. Okay. Anybody? I can't see any hands yet.
I have a question.
Over to you, sir, Mr. Olaore.
Yes, I want to thank her for nailing it. It's one of those very embarrassing moments, when you realize that somehow something is not working. You have the budget, I think the biggest challenge that I have is aligning the methodology between my wife's method of budgeting and my way of thinking about it. I think if we have an app that can track our monies and help us, and there are apps out there. There is QuickBooks, there's Quicken and all that. But my wife is averse to it. She likes to write it down. And, she has an Excel, then she forgets something. Then something will flip, and then I flip. It's like, you know what? I don't know what to do, So I think that is my reality, that we both make a lot of money. We see the money come in, but, it's like we are struggling. Sometimes something we just miss, and you discover that the amount you thought you had in the safe checking just didn't meet the expense that hit it, and you're like, what? No, this is not happening. But I make a lot of money. I think I make a lot of money. At least, when you look at your money versus what you think your expenses are, and then things are slipping, So I think I just went into a mode like, you know what? I too, like my brother Flex said, I just did wing it, because I know we do have a budget, but it looks more like winging than an actual budget. So what do you do when philosophies differ? We love each other, we are on the same page, but our philosophies of money and how we look at the money differ.
Thank you so much for bringing that. And honestly, that is a topic for another day. And you can see that I was smiling all through, because that was literally our experience, our reality. Like, I am just the numbers percent. My husband is a complete opposite of that. And just like I said, in his head, he thinks, yeah, we have money. Okay, we don't. Or we don't have enough to meet this expense. So it gets to a point where you both have to really sit down. And there's something that I talk about, again, it's another topic. It's about money personalities. The way we're different, sanguine, choleric, we also have different money personalities. And honestly, I have about, I think there's 7 of them. Most of the time, you find opposites marrying themselves. So you either find a spender marrying a saver, or a planner marrying an avoider. And while all of those, there's really no one personality that is so bad. What we need to do is to harness each other's strengths, right? So you have the mentality of let's use an app, and that's very good. There's so many apps out there that you can use. I myself am considering like creating an app out of this so that it's easier for people to just plug in their budgets, and then once it's spent, their checking account it shows up, it's linked to their checking account, so that automatically you're tracking, and you probably don't need that 10-15 minutes money dates to like put in the numbers yourself. So I think it's both of you coming together and really saying, hey, what is the best way forward? It's not about my method or your method. Let's see which method can work best for us. What are the pros? What are the cons? Do we really need to invest in an app? If we need to, yes, let's do that. Or do you just enjoy your writing it down? Write down the vision. It's good. Write it down. But like I said, if one person is doing the budgeting, the other person has to be on board. So both of you need to really agree to that budget and ensure that you're not missing out on any categories. That's why I use the bucket method, so that you're capturing everything. Because sometimes you think that you are budgeted, but something is coming. One unexpected expense is just coming, and it will just scatter all your mathematics and arithmetic, and at some point the math will not math again. So if you are able to download my template, I think that I've tried to think about all of the expenses that can happen. And just that last bucket of unplanned miscellaneous is a life changer. A lot of things go there. So you need to plan for it and budget for it on a monthly basis. Thank you. I was able to answer that a little bit.
Yes, thank you. So where do we get your link? Are you going to put
I
it
will put it in the chat.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I think we have Olubukola's hand up. Mrs. Adebi, I believe. Yes, Mrs. Adebi.
Thank you very much. Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for this amazing presentation, right on point. Now, my question, I noticed that all through your presentation, you kept on mentioning you must get the buy-in of your spouse. So that means that you will have experienced a couple of people that they could not get the buy-in of their spouse. How do you such, or how did they resolve such? Thank you.
Okay, I'm going to give you a very practical experience. Okay, very, very practical. So I'm the numbers person, right? My husband, he couldn't be bothered. If you ask him how much is the salary, he will tell you, oh, don't let me call my wife. She knows how much I earn. So I would do the budget and then I'll send it to him. And you know, he will say, just do your thing, you're fine. But I'm like, you need to know how much I budgeted for you, for your personal needs, so that when you want to do all your things, you know how much and how much we have. So what I did one of these days was that I did the budget, and then I kind of moved out some of the monies for other things. And at some point, the checking account had no money in it. And my husband got to a gas station and he wanted to buy gas, and there was no money. And then he called me and said, what's going on? And I said, well, we eat the budget for that line. That was a learning point for him. Like, yes, there is a budget. We have spent that money. The other day he went to Home Depot. He wanted to buy something. I knew there was no money. He told me he was going to Home Depot, and I said, bye. And then he got there and he called me and said, the card is not working. I said, the card is working. There is just no money in that account for that purchase. Of course, I moved the money, but that was the learning point for him to really just understand what I was saying. Because again, our brain works in different ways. Some people they're not just bothered about all of these numbers, but even if we are not numbers people, somewhere in our brains, we should understand that the person that is doing the numbers is putting in a lot of energy to ensure that the home is running smoothly. So that's why I say you need to get the buy-in of your spouse. You know your spouse, you know how this message would hit home, but try as much as possible to ensure that when you do your budget, that you send it to your spouse and ensure that they agree to it, so that there's no bickering, there's no conflict, and you both can be on the same page.
Thank you very much.
All right, thank you so much. I'm trying to see whether we have any Any comment in the chat room, question in the chat room? I think no. If I'm going to make my own comment, I love the part where you talk about one of the buckets that you created and the ones that you talk about discretionary something, all right, whereby it is more focusing on your needs and not your wants.
Your
And,
wants, not your needs.
Your wants, not your needs. Okay, that's what you have under that. Okay. I think most of the time we find it difficult to really be able to okay, so let me speak for myself. I find it difficult to be able to detach from certain things that have become habitual, even though they are just, they are not critical needs. All right. And by the time you put in a budget, all right, would that not in any way be affecting your lifestyle as far as your finances are concerned?
So I want to say that you earn money, please take care of yourself as much as you can. I'm not the financial coach that will say don't spend money on yourself. Enjoy yourself, enjoy your life as much as you can. There are just some things that bring us joy, right? Some of us like vacation, that brings us joy. Please prioritize it if that's what brings you joy. But ensure that you are planning for it. Whatever it is, maybe you like to go to the gym, or you're just the kind of person that some people are natural spenders. They like to shop. Please, if you're a natural spender, that's okay. The only thing that I would say is don't be an impulse buyer. Plan for it. Say this month I'm taking care of myself, I'm going to splurge and I'm going to put it on my budget. Ensure that it aligns with your budget. Your budget is able to support that thing that you want to do. Budgeting is not about restriction. It's not about cutting off all the good things in your life, all the things that make you happy. That's not what budgeting is about. In fact, I feel very happy when I go into a store and I want to buy something for myself because I have budgeted for it. It's my money. I allocated that money to myself so I can buy anything that I want to buy, right? My budget is supporting it. We begin to have buyer's remorse when we are not meeting our needs and we're spending on our wants and we're not planning for it. That's when we begin to experience buyer's remorse. So please, yes, put your wants on your budget. Even if your financial goal is a want, I want to buy a new car, that's okay. It's okay. Please, if you can afford to buy a new car, put it on your budget, plan for it, make it happen for yourself, celebrate your wins. So please, a budget is not something that I think that perhaps the way we've spoken about budgeting for many years, that's what makes people shy away from it because they just feel like it's going to restrict them. They want to enjoy their lives and budgeting would not just make that happen. I am saying, please, you want to enjoy your life, put it on your budget, plan for it, and spend the money on yourself. It's okay.
All right, thank you so much, dear sister. I would like to say on behalf of all the members of Transform Minds that we are so grateful for you taking time out to come and share this with us. It doesn't get more practical than the way you have put it across to us. And I want to believe because of your own story, some of us, we have to go and take a second look at it. And with also the template that you also graciously decided to share with us, we're going to also be able to put some of these principles into practice. And perhaps we will pray also along to ensure that we are able to just stick to it, because sometimes it's not so much about starting, it's about sustaining. All right. And help us all. So thank you so much on behalf of everybody.
We have a question. Sorry, before we have a question in the chat. And I'm not even sure that I'm able to help answer this question, but maybe Pastor Olawe can help us here. There's a question that says, please, is it okay to tithe my monthly feeding allowance for the family as a wife if I'm sure my husband is not tithing? So the money allocated to food, you're going to go tithe it. Over to you, sir.
Well, I would say that is a very naughty question, but if the wife feels that that is the income that she has access to tithe on behalf of the family and make the rest work, because that will remove her guilt. Yeah, that will remove her guilt that this is the income I have access to and I can tithe it on behalf of this family and do the needful, So I think that would be, now not go back to the husband and shame him or make him feel guilty, because she's, then it defeats the purpose. If you feel you can take 10,000 naira out of 100,000 naira and make it tight and spend 90 to feed the family, and your conscience is free, then let God. That's my own assessment of that and my own response to that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you for that insight, sir. All right. All right. So I think as a follow-up to that, I would like to also specially acknowledge all the people joining us for the first time or participating in our program for the first time. If you are on this call this afternoon or this evening, we would like to celebrate you, we would like to acknowledge you. You can just indicate by, showing of hands so that we can specifically mention your name and acknowledge the fact that you, out of your busy schedule, you decided to join us today, and where instead of being somewhere else, decided to be with us. I know that Mr. Williams should be on this call. I believe you mentioned that earlier on. So I can't see any hands up right now. And you also mentioned somebody that should be your either friend or family member that's on this call. All of you.
Yeah, I do have my sister. I have my two sisters here. I have my brother. I have my cousin. Thank you all for your support.
Awesome. We really appreciate you creating time to join us. There is someone with the hands in the chat room. That's Nenovo's device. God bless you. We would like to get to know you, Omotola's sister. Oh, awesome. All right. So thank you so much. I am dropping a link in the chat room right now, just in case you love what you've experienced in our midst today and you would like to be a part of several other series like these that we have. On weekly basis, we meet every Tuesday like this. And aside the Transform Mind series, which is the session that we've just listened to, we also meet every Thursday, same time, for prayers only. And that prayer session is 30 minutes. We would also like for you to join us for that. The link in the chat room, just click on it. You'll find yourself in our WhatsApp group and several other information that will let you know how to really take full advantage of your membership with us. You will be shared with you on that call. So thank you so much. And for our members, Transform Mind members, thank you so much also for creating time to join us today. If you notice, some few minutes ago, we received a notification that we're going to be having a Thanksgiving service for Elder Sheyi Wright. All right. And I think it's something that all of us would love to be a part of. Please let's diarize the date. Let me check the date again and just remind us of it. It's going to be on the 1st of March, 10 a.m. prompt at Potter's Outreach SDA Church. It's somewhere around Babatunde Joseph Street in Victoria Island. Please let us come out to just join our dear brother to give thanks to God and express our gratitude for all that God has done in his life. Thank you so much, everybody. I think that's about everything I'm supposed to share. I don't know whether I've left anything out. But on that note, I would like to say thank you, everyone. And I will hand over to Brother Okeze now, maybe for closing prayer as we bring this session today to a close. My name is Shola Oyegbade, even though I just remember that my system is showing Flex Solutions. My name is Shola Oyegbade, and God bless you. Thank you once again, dear sister, and God bless you and your family. Cheers.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Let us bow our heads as we pray. Father God, we thank you for this session. We thank you for using our sister. Thank you for the knowledge she has shared. We ask, oh God, for grace to apply these things because we are stewards of the resources you've committed into our hands, and to remind us that we shall one day be accountable to you for how we have used our resources. Father, thank you for our sister, the facilitator. Bless her immensely, bless her family, and continue to enlarge her coast and area of influence as she blesses the world with her knowledge. Father, Lord, Thank you for Transform Minds, and bring us back here tomorrow, on Thursday, so that we can pray these lessons into our lives. Thank you for everyone. Bless them, reward them for the time they spent here. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Sorry, Barokis, if I have your permission, I just want to remind our dear sister. She mentioned something about money personalities. I think it would be a good topic to examine one of these days. Money personalities. I think I would love to hear the dynamics of that. All right. So,
okay, so I have on my YouTube channel, I have a couple of lessons on my YouTube channel. If you can do well and go, I think I shared the link already. If you can subscribe, I think lesson 3 talks about money personalities, and I have the quiz on my website as well. So you can take a quiz. It's a 1-minute quiz that will tell you what your prominent money personality type is. So yes, if you can subscribe to my channel, that would be good. Thank you.
We'll do that. Sure. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, everyone. God bless you. Pastor Jide, thank you for joining. Thank you, everyone. Kemi, thank you for joining. Everyone that has joined, thank you. And join us on the platform. If you need the link, please reach out.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Bashola, thank you so much.